Hey there, it's Jacques from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. So, as you can imagine, it's actually a pretty volatile week for the market. At the time of recording, this is pre-release weekend for Eldritch Moon. A lot of folks are speculating and thinking about what they want to brew for the upcoming standard season. And on top of that, we have all the regular chaos that's been going on in the world of Legacy with reserve list cards and buyouts and all of that. And then also in Modern, we have a deck that actually posted some good results that is also garnering a little bit of excitement as well. So having said that, let's start off, as we always do, with Standard. We're going to look at the top 5 cards that lost value in Standard this week. Now, much like we've seen over the last couple months, these cards are pretty much your high-ticket cards from the previous Standard season. These are soft right now because players are a little hesitant to invest in these cards due to the fact that they know the metagame is about to change and these cards may or may not see play at this point in the future. They're still very good cards. They have proven themselves in Standard. It just remains to be seen if they will be a force going forward. Coming in at number 5 is Nahiri, the Harbinger, and she's down $1.47 to $25.37, and this is an interesting sign. It's not a huge drop. This is a card that also sees Modern and even Legacy play at times, but it is an indication that players that are brewing right now for the beginning of the Standard season don't have a whole lot of confidence in this card and maybe the combo of this and other large creatures. It looks like they're turning their attention to other cards, which we're about to see. Number 4 is a Chandra Flamecaller, down $1.52 to $14.81. Number 3 is Archangel Avacyn, down $1.69 to $21.14. Number 2, not number 1 this week, Jace Vryn's Prodigy, down $1.78 to $33.24. I've mentioned this in the last few months, but Jace still can be found for cheaper than this value. This is kind of the listed average market value. However, this is a card that a lot of folks are just trying to liquidate. It's dropped so much over the last few months, and it was a card that Standard decks basically needed 4 of for a period of time. So there's a lot of copies floating around out there that people just aren't using right now. So they're trying to get rid of them. A lot of people speculated on this card and they're now just trying to get something out of their investment. So you can still find this card for under $30 if you look. And coming in number 1 is Kalitas, Trader of Get, losing $1.84 to $26.11. Now, this one may be a little surprising considering it plays well with zombies, and zombies do appear to be a thing coming up in the Standard season. However, you do have to take into account this is actually a very expensive and valuable card for a recent Standard card. Now, this is the biggest card to come out of Oath of the Gatewatch financially, and it's hard for cards nowadays to maintain that value unless they're like a Jace that gets played 4 of in every single deck. It's just, there's so many cards opened and printed that you don't see a lot of $25, $30 Standard cards stick around at that price tag. So even though this does have a lot of potential to see play in the new Standard, it is still dropping a little bit. Alright, let's look at the cards that have gained value this week in Standard. Now, what you're going to notice here is financially, these aren't huge gains. They're pretty small, but they're very good indicators of what people are looking at for the next wave of Standard. So these are all very good investments if you do want to pick up play sets and speculate a little bit, because none of these cards are very expensive. They won't put you back. They haven't gone up in price dramatically this week, but they're nice indicators of cards that potentially could see some increased value over the next month or two. Coming in at number 5 is Days Undoing. This is up 16 cents to $4.83. Now, unlike some of the other cards on the set, this is a card that is actually currently seeing Standard play, even if it is a little bit fringe, but is seeing play in the Mono Blue Prism deck as well as Blue-White Control. Number 4 is Prized Amalgam, going up 26 cents to $1.96. And as you can imagine, a lot of folks are speculating that zombies will be a thing in Standard. The pieces appear to be there, and this is one of the better zombie cards from Shadows over Innistrad. Number 3 is Matter Reshaper, going up 33 cents to $2.49. This has caught a lot of brewers' attention because of its interaction with the Emerge cards. It's just going to work very well there. Coming number 2, another very, very good zombie, and this is a Diagraph Colossus, up 45 cents to $1.87. Again, a lot of folks feel this will definitely see play in the new Standard. And coming in number 1 is Rattle Chains, up 92 cents to $3.80. And Spirits have also captured a lot of players' imaginations. They were strong in Shadows of Innistrad, but just couldn't quite break through into the standard meta. They got a lot of new pieces in this new set, so they do have some potential to see some play. So keep an eye on this card in particular, because it is kind of the biggest spirit card from Shadows over Innistrad, being kind of the spirit lord, if you will. All right, having said that, let's move on to Modern. And Modern is probably the least volatile market right now, and you're going to see that with the exception of just a couple cards, there's not a lot of movement. And you'll notice that the cards that lost value this week truly haven't lost much value at all. Coming in number 5 is the Darksteel version of Arcbound Ravager, losing $1.71 to $46.57. Number 4 is Celestial Colonnade, losing $1.97 to $38.29. Number 3 is Damnation, losing $1.97 to $65.53. Number 2 is Tarmogoyf, and we're looking at both the Future Sight and Modern Masters 2015 version of these cards. Future Sight lost 221 to 172.79. Modern Masters 2015 lost 222 to 137.75. Now, here's what's kind of interesting about this in general, though. Goyf has actually lost quite a bit of value over the last month or two. Future Sight was up to around $180, so it's lost about $7-8 of value. That's saying something, even though it is still seeing play out there, but I do think Tarmogoyf was maybe a little overcosted, especially for Future Sight, so it may be coming down a little bit to match up with the Modern Masters prices. Now, Modern Masters 2015 is kind of the opposite. Even though this lost value this week, if somebody's just desperate to get their hands on Tarmogoyf to play with, this is a good choice because it's obviously the cheapest version of the card. Now, granted, there were a lot of printing issues with Modern Masters 2015. If folks want to invest in an expensive card, they may just spend the extra money to pick up either the Future Sight version or the original Modern Masters version instead, and that's why you see this value being a little softer, but I think long term at some point these will start to equalize a little bit, and I do think this will go up in value, at least somewhat. Coming in number 1 is Liliana of the Veil. This is down 282 to 106.31. Really not a huge deal for a card that's this expensive. I mean, once a card in Modern is like over $100, you can expect to see fluctuations like this from time to time. Okay, let's look at the top 5 cards that have gained value in Modern this week. Coming in number 5 is Kokushu, the Evening Star. This is up 51 cents to 16.52. Number 4 is Through the Breach, up $1.15 to 29.49. Coming in number 3 is Noble Hierarch, up $1.28 to 49.49. This is the Conflux version. What's interesting about this card in general is this has seen 2 reprints. Each of the Modern Masters sets have reprinted this card, and even so, it still maintains a lot of value. Just the fact that it's a card that is played in a lot of Modern decks, a lot of different types of decks, as well as a number of different Legacy decks, means that even if this thing gets reprinted every couple of years or so in the rare slot of a Modern Masters, still has the potential for growth and for some value. It's still a $50 card. I expect this to continue to go up. Coming in number 2 is River of Tears, up $5.07 to $12.99. And I think this is a little bit of speculation, not necessarily a buyout, but a lot of players just speculating on these Future Sight lands. Obviously, we know Horizon Canopy is huge. Grove of the Burn Willows is huge. Then we recently saw a buyout of Nimbus Maze, and now this is kind of the next card that a lot of speculators are starting to focus on. Again, I wouldn't necessarily say this is being bought out, at least not yet, but I think a lot of folks are just trying to pick up some extra copies because they feel there could be some long-term value here. Coming in number 1 is Mishra's Bauble, and this is up $9.31 to $19.69. Now, that type of spike has the feel of a buyout, but I actually don't think it is. There was a deck, a Suicide Zoo deck, which actually finished in first place a couple weeks ago in the SCG Modern IQ. But I think a lot of people are looking at that deck and buying into that deck at this point. So I think that's why you're seeing a jump in the value of this card. But I think this is an actual value jump due to gameplay and not market manipulation. All right, speaking of market manipulation, let's talk about Legacy. So Legacy, as all of you know, I'm sure, There's been a number of buyouts going on recently, especially of reserve list cards, and that type of thing is what's really dominating the top 5 cards that not only gain value but lost value. So you're going to see a lot of cards here on this lost value list that are cards that recently spiked due to buyouts that are now coming down. Now, the thing about buyouts is most of the time, unless somebody has a lot of capital, like millions of dollars just lying around, they can't afford to just go out and buy thousands or tens of thousands of dollars worth of a card to corner the market. What they have to do is take out credit. So they take out credit, they make these purchases, they corner the market, let the value go up, and then they quickly try to sell them back into the market for a higher value, pay off their credit before to the point where they have to pay interest on it. Now, because of that, that's why you see these spikes where the market gets cornered, card goes up very quickly in value, and then it goes down again. Now, the problem is it doesn't go down to exactly where it was to start with, even if all the cards get reintroduced to the market, just simply because now the confidence level in the value of that card from the marketplace is a lot higher than it was prior to the buyout. So people are willing to spend more to get that card, thus increasing the demand, even if the supply at the end of the day truly wasn't decreased. So that's kind of what you're going to see here as we move into the cards that lost value, but enough of the economics. Coming in number 5 is Gaia's Cradle, down $23.02 to $245.76. Of course, the victim of a very infamous buyout a few weeks ago, starting to come down. Coming in number 4, Island of Wak Wak, down $29.34 to $84.74. This is a Arabian Nights reserve list card. Arabian Nights is a very strong target right now for buyouts and speculation due to the fact that there's a lot of decent reserve list cards there. Some of them even still see play in formats like Old School today. But also they're very, very rare. And if you look at this compared to all of the other expansions, this one is the rarest. It's not quite as rare as, say, Alpha or Beta, but still very, very rare when it comes to numbers of these cards that are out there. Coming in number 3 is Mirror Universe, down $31.40 to $89.99. Again, was a buyout not too long ago. Coming in number 2, the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale, down $208.20 to $1,250. Tabernacle is a very expensive card, and because of that, you are going to see very big price swings from week to week. It just depends on what folks are listing them for. Coming in number 1 is Jazam Jijin, going down $262.20 to $475.40. This card, again, is an example of a card that recently saw a pretty decent buyout. It spiked significantly, came down a little bit, but the fact that this card sees a lot of play in the Old School format, if you're playing kind of the mono black deck, you kind of want 4 of these. So because of that, there is actually some actual demand behind this card too. So I think it's going to stick around between $475 to maybe $550 card for a while, regardless of market manipulation. All right, let's look at the top 5 legacy cards that have gained value this week. Coming in number 5 is not a reserve list card. It is City of Brass, Arabian Nights version, up $25.26 to $107.34. Now, again, even though this is not a reserve list card, it has seen many reprintings. This is a very rare version of a classic card, and again, a lot of old school players are interested in this card, the original version of it, and speculators as well don't mind picking up Arabian Nights copies of this. Coming in number 4 is Diamond Valley, yet another Arabian Nights reserve list card, up $31.76 to $214.69. Coming in number 3, imagine that, another Arabian Nights reserve list card, coming in at $131.49 with an increase of $37.10. Number 2 is Unlimited Underground Sea. This one's up at $95.38 to $5.98 this week. And finally, number 1, we have Candelabra of Tawnos, and this one has gone up $261.01 to $675. And again, another old expansion. This time we're looking at Antiquities, card that's seen a lot of volatility over the last few weeks. So having said that, that is the market watch for this week. A lot continues to go on, especially in the world of Legacy. I do expect to see a ramping up of Standard over the next few weeks. We're a few weeks away now from the Pro Tour. That's really going to impact the Standard market as it always does. But until then, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day.
Hey, thanks as always for watching. This video, like all my videos, was made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Even a donation of $1 helps me to keep growing this community and creating better quality videos for all of you. Check out our Patreon page for exclusive giveaways and future goals for the channel. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the MTG news, spoilers, set reviews, product openings, or finance videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon and have a good day.